aka Patters, do you hear that racing car? That's right. I do audio engineering. We can do some fancy things here. Welcome to episode 490 of aka Pad's Audio Audacity podcast. You have the pleasure to be with me as we race towards episode 500, leading the way to the 31 Days of Dread starting in this October. That's less than 9 days away. So I'm doing a big episode dump. I'm doing something right now that's been on my mind for a very long time. And thank you for joining me. Peter A. DeLuca here, another known as PAD. People always ask me, what is AKAPAD? What is this thing you got going on? But I'm out there. I'm known as a world sketchbook champion. I am known as spicy taco roast beef sandwich. We do it all here. We draw, we create. I'm the creator of Uzi Susie, Trial by Fire. Right now, too, you can sign up for some free trading cards only at akapad.com. Get yourself some free Wolfpack trading cards. We just did a new pressing. Card number 3 is going out. That's right. Bash and dash. Okay. Enough of the inside promotion stuff. But why has this in particular been with me for so long? Because when I set out to do the show, or like, I don't know what, look, I sat down, we started the show, I didn't know where it was going to go. I think we're in somewhat of a direction at this point, which is awesome. But I like doing these retrospectives, and I like doing these filmography drill downs. They don't do as well as I want, but I love doing them. So I decided for the race to episode 500, I was going to, let's just do like a top 10. Like the top 10 guys, the top 10 filmographies that I want to talk about. We're going to start with Michael Bay. And here's the great thing when it comes to Michael Bay. People think they have an opinion on Michael Bay. We're also going to get into this with Zack Snyder because he's on this list, and that's the only tease. But I'm not going to tell you who's coming. We're just going to do drops, and you'll see the top 10 countdown going into episode 500. What I mean when I say people don't have a opinion of Michael Bay. Their opinion is not based on any film that they've seen. It's just based on what they see on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, social media. It makes it frustrating. And there's a fog and mirrors. There's a shadows and fog. Right, two separate terms using the word fog. But there's a haze and there's a misdirection when it comes to this guy. Because we got to preface this with something. Making movies is one of the hardest things to do in the world. And I know you're thinking there's other hard things. But you're also doing it on the public stage and you're immediately judged. I don't understand how and why filmmakers just don't commit suicide. I don't understand how Michael Bay doesn't commit suicide with the amount of wrongfully directed hate. This dude, every single one of his movies I love. He might be the filmmaker I put on the most outside of number one. Number one. Who's number one? 1995. Oh, jeez. 1995. Bad Boys. Saw this in the theater. My friend Joe, who also drugged me to go see Blade. Because, he liked these types of movies. But Joe's a great friend of mine. We still chat. Sat down, saw Bad Boys. It blew my freaking mind. It was so cool. Mike Lara. We still quote this movie from 1995. Other friends of mine that enjoy this movie. We quote this movie all the time. I think Bad Boys should be a part of your vernacular when it comes to film. He nailed down, like, we're talking film number one here. He nailed down rotation shots. which are so, I mean, people still rip them off today. The Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson sunset scenes. We see this in Top Gun. 96, Joe and I are back at it. We see The Rock. This is my junior year of high school. And we see it again. We saw Rock maybe 3 times in 1 week. It, to me, it was so visceral. Amazing. Sammy Ipkiss, Nicolas Cage. Holy crap. We're going up a level. Then here we go. This is what you might call the absolute masterpiece. This is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time. I can have a discussion about nuclear physics. Maybe not, but the point I'm getting at is I roll in Armageddon references as much as I can. And the people around me that know how much I love this movie, it's always a good laugh. Armageddon, at one time, the most expensive movie ever made. The biggest production ever made. I saw this movie with my buddy John. People were crying in the theater. People were shook by the ending of this movie. This movie also went up against Deep Impact, another amazing movie. Both of them, you might argue, greatest asteroid meteor slamming into the earth movies ever. Both masterpieces, vastly different. Armageddon, you give credit, a completely independent movie cast. There was no major star, even Bruce Willis at the time, independent star. We know him from Pulp Fiction. People will Die Hard. No, he was mostly independent movies. So shut up, sit down. Then here we go. Rounding out the movies he's made for Disney. 2001, post Titanic. We gotta get that bag. Historical tragedy, historical drama, Pearl Harbor. But tell me when you watch this movie this day that you're not completely engaged from scene to scene. It's as engaging and it moves as fast, as satisfactory as Private Ryan. Bad Boys 2. Initially a disappointment for me. But holy shit, we're also at 2003. Bad Boys 2 has grown. And Bad Boys 2 does lead into Bad Boys 3. I love it. Michael Bay was not involved with Bad Boys 3 outside of, producing. 2005. This is the one movie. Ewan McGregor, ScarJo. More Steve Buscemi too. The Island is the movie I see the most posts about today. People hold this movie up. It tugs a chord. Insane. People love ripping apart some of the action scenes in this movie. I don't know. The Island is there. It's very Logan's Run. I compare it to Logan's Run. And then what we have from 2007 to 2011, we have a solid trilogy. So this guy not only makes the biggest movies budget-wise, but he brings us Transformers in 2007, where my friend and I snapped and looked at each other in the theater when we heard the quotes from the Transformers animated movie. It was fan service. It was like a very early indication of fan service. The mythology of Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, 2011, Dark of the Moon. Every 2 years, he's pumping out movies. So you have to understand that Michael Bay, with the Transformers movies, he's keeping special effects houses. He's paying people salaries. People are being sent to college. People are getting married under his stewardship and success of Transformers. He has funded lives off of those movies alone. Just people working on them. The mythology, the expansion, the explanation of Transformers is better than anything we saw in the comic and cartoon. These movies, they're in your face. They're sexy. They're shot well. I love the shooting. but the car shots make you want to go buy those cars. This movie does so much to you. And it's fun. And we have endless robot action. I'm with these movies so much. Pain and Gain 2013. This is what I consider to be his absolute best movie. When we're just talking from a film, like a film sense. Armageddon, the absolute the hammer swinging big budget masterpiece. Armageddon. Pain and Gain. The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Ed Harris. Pain and Gain is it. If you watch this movie and you don't want to do more in life and you don't want to go jump through a window and work out, if you don't want to punch through a wall while drinking a Budweiser, if that's not for you, then most of these movies are not for you. Most big budget movies are not for you. Now keep in mind, people might say, well, what about The Batman? What about Spider-Man 4? They're not masculine. There's no toxicity in The Batman. At the end of the movie, he's falling from a amplifier chandelier above a abandoned sports arena, dodging guys with guns. There you go. Transformers: Age of Extinction backtracks, gives us an origin, gives us an idea of what's happening on Earth and why Earth is important. Earth gets terraformed in the first few minutes of this movie, and it explains to us the importance of Earth. Finally, Earth was a target for the Transformers from the very beginning. This is what I talk about mythology expanding. Better action, better robot designs. There's a toy line called Transformers Studio Series. They make toys of the movie designs. When you hold those in your hand, you understand all the design choices that was made for these movies. And it works. And people that tell you don't, I'm not sure where they're even coming from anymore. They're just odd people that they don't know what they want. They don't know what they like. It's hard to listen to them. Now, keep in mind, too, when it comes to some of the Transformer criticism, some of these diehards have, there's a guy named TJ Omega on YouTube. He has a position against a lot of the Transformer movies, but he's coming from a place of, he's vocal, he's consistent, worth listening to when it comes to some of the pitfalls. But if anyone goes on about like Megan Fox and the girls being too sexualized, well, you know what? Shut up. They're hot. Let them be hot. Shoot them hot. Moving on. 13 Hours. The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Fucking awesome. John Krasinski. This movie is heartbreaking. I have yet to see the end of this movie. I watch it up until a certain point, and that's it. I can't watch these guys die. As much as I love a movie like Black Hawk Down, this movie very much emulates Black Hawk Down to a panic level, to almost like a feeling level, not shot to shot type thing. Same as similar scenario with Pearl Harbor and Saving Private Ryan. Movies awesome. Transformers, the last of these Transformers movies. Now, keep in mind, we go off into Bumblebee, also involved and exists in the Michael Bay universe. We have another Transformers movie coming, again, potentially existing in the Bay universe. So Michael Bay has completely, pun intended, coming up, transformed the Transformers universe. The Last Night, I love the ending of this movie. I love how this movie wraps up. I love the idea of Optimus turning, Optimus going into space, floating in space, being hypnotized. I love everything with Mark Wahlberg. The military guys are back. This movie just goes, and I love it. And here we go, 2019. We've already touched it on this podcast. 6 Underground with Ryan Reynolds. Jeff Bezos runs a secret James Bond team. Doing what's right, doing what's better for the greater good, avoiding red tape, and funding it all. And I love it. 6 Underground, 6 thumbs up. And then here we go. We got 2022. I wanted to talk about this as soon as I saw it. I've only seen it one time. I want to see more. I fucking love the green Ambulance, Jake Gyllenhaal, playing an anti-hero, someone of a villain bad guy. This movie makes you just want to go to Los Angeles. He's not shy. He shows off Skid Row and the homelessness and a lot of that problem. It is shot Bad Boy style with sunset, or as I say, the Bruckheimer Simpson style. Everyone in this movie looks so freaking good. There's like a MT girl, like a medical response girl that she's so freaking hot and cute. I love everyone in this movie. This movie was just a ton of fun. My friend and I, we ate Mark Wahlberg hot dogs during this movie. And keep in mind, I watched a lot of these movies for the first time with friends of mine that appreciate what these movies are. Call them bros, call them chads, call them whatever. But these guys know every single line of most of these movies I already named. They love talking about it. They love hearing about it. They love, a lot of the perspective from Michael Bay of how he views the world. We're seeing the world through Michael Bay's eyes, and he's done it spending more money than probably anyone in the history of Hollywood. He's got to be a top 5 grossing filmmaker. So don't come at me that the people haven't chosen what they want from Michael Bay. They have, okay? They chosen to spend a lot of their money on this guy. Now, keep in mind, outside of Transformers, these movies not well merchandised. Armageddon had a couple toys, but these movies mostly exist to be movies, and they resonate and they rise to the top. And we saw this with the attention that Bad Boys got, because Bad Boys got attention because Bad Boys 1995, Bad Boys 2, 2003 has resonated so much. And back during the Will Smith slap, I said, we're losing Bad Boys 4, and that's huge. Like that should upset people. It seems to upset no one except for me. People, next episode 400, what the hell am I saying? 491, we're going to do another filmmaker. Who's it going to be?